G'day folks, it's Rob here. In today's video is just a quick update on this aquaponics system, the new aquaponics system, and also our balcony aquaponics system. So we'll get cracking on this one, eh? So these fish are getting a bit toey. It must be warm enough to give them some feed. So things are warming up slightly here water-wise. It's around about 20-21 degrees in there at the moment. So whenever it hits over 21 degrees, I tend to throw a bit of feed in for the jade perch. They're pretty much all eating as well as they do through summer, and yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more size go onto them. The filters definitely need a bit of a clean. I haven't done that for about 2 weeks now because they're only getting fed every second day or so. The water temp, I can't measure it at the moment because the unit's upstairs on the deck system, because we're getting ready to move our little friend in here, which you can't see, our little Tandennis catfish. He's going to be moving into the deck system, because I want to remove this sump and set it up down in the newer system, which we'll have a look at in the tick, even though not a lot has happened down there. This grow bed here is pretty much all ready to take out. I'm going to transplant this parsley into another bed just to keep it alive until we fix up, you know, the growing space down the other end. The same with this thyme down in here, and those green onions, they'll just be pulled out and put in another bed. I actually harvested a couple of large ones yesterday. They went into a curry for last night's dinner. They were more like leeks, so absolutely huge. Unfortunately, I lost a bit of the flavour because the curry was a bit strong, but still, yeah, not too bad at all. I'm actually just filming a little bit of B-roll here with the other phone at the moment, but yeah, the other bed here is travelling along fine. The mushroom herb actually kept growing really well through this winter, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. The small little ball cabbages, this one down here isn't quite ready, but this one here is ready to go, and so is this one. We haven't had as many, even though we've got a couple of holes, and yeah, we did find a grub on here the other day. We haven't had as many cabbage butterflies this year, or aphids, knock on wood. We haven't seen many of them in the brassicas, and they're the two major pests we have. So when we get back from a trip, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video, a couple of these cabbages will be coming off. One will go into a onion and apple dish we like, and the other I might try and lacto ferment. We've got a couple of volunteers in this bed. We've got a little warrigal green over here and another larger one over here. So they just tend to sprout during our cooler months, our winter, and will grow through summer in the aquaponics, but they tend to have a bit of a hard time of it out in the soil beds through summer. We have the ball capsicum that was here, if you remember that. We dropped a fruit and we've had a load of plants germinate. So what I'm thinking about doing is just cutting it back to the strongest one and transplanting it out. We'll see how they go. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a hybrid though, so we're not going to get the same fruit as we got from the parents, but you know, we'll just wait and see. Just over the back there, I forgot to mention, is the black turmeric. Now, this has really surprised me because the plants out the back are dead, and this one is still throwing up new leaves all through winter, and so is the other one over in the other bed. So the warmer water, because we do have the water heated for the fish, I think is just helping those plants stay alive, where the soil temperature down the back would be a little bit lower. And the same with this lemongrass and the one over in the other bed next to us. Both of these guys have just been putting on growth all through winter. So I'm really stoked about that. I thought I would have to pull them out, transplant them and break them up by now. But no, they're going to hang on until we clean this bed out and move it down the back. Over here, this is the other smaller black turmeric. It didn't get off to a great start, and it was moved around a bit when I cleaned out the large amaranth from this bed. But yeah, still putting on new growth. I did cut off a bit of a scraggly older leaf there, and this lemongrass has bounced right back. It wasn't looking too good after I cleaned this bed out either. And over here we have a few more of those cabbages. They went in a little bit later, and yeah, so we're going to get a successive crop of them. Around the side here, we still have the aloe vera that needs to come out, as well as that big mother one. And we did have a broccoli here. Oh, and also one over in the other bed over there as well. I harvested them the other day, took them upstairs, teased Jack with one of them because he really likes broccoli. And now we've only got this one left, which I think I might be taking off probably tonight or maybe tomorrow. I will just wait and see. I might leave that one here for Kira. And we've just got a couple of green onions left here. So that parsley, once this one has been harvested, I will bring and transplant over here so we can get rid of that bed. Now, I did mention before, I am taking the sump from here and putting it in the other system. It's just that this one is a little bit taller, holds a little bit more water. So I need to get rid of this grow bed here so I can get the catfish out and move the tank. So what I've decided to do is just get all that clay after I move the plants and pop it down into this IBC. A bit of shade cloth over there because there's actually a hole down there. There's no valve on this one. And I'm just going to let it drain in here and dry out. And I'll show you down the other system. Just quickly, I just wanted to thank all you folks who do thumb up the videos and leave comments down below. It really does help let YouTube know that people are watching these videos, because it seems like they've throttled my views over the last 4 or 5 months to a fraction of what they used to be. And I've had a couple of regular viewers saying they're no longer getting notifications when I post videos. So yeah, if you could just do the thumbs up and the comment, I really would appreciate it, even if it's have a shave you hairy git. So there we go, off to the new system. Not a lot is going on down here. I actually turned the pump off a while back. I do have some water in the bottom down there. I've been keeping an eye on it to make sure there's no mozzies, but that water there is going to have to be pumped out, and I'll probably water the garden with it. And this whole sump needs to come out. I just want a larger volume one, even though I'm not using flood and drain beds. I just figure it would be good to get it in now. One issue I do have is, I don't know if you can see, it is on a bit of an angle. So what I will be doing is using some sleepers. These ones here aren't long enough to go from front to back on here, so I'm going to have to cut 2 new ones. They're about 1200 long, but I will be able to use them in the center where there's this little bit here jutting out. I'm going to use sleepers across the bottom just to support it. And down the end here, do you want me to throw that, Jack? No? You're just happy to run around with it? Okay. Down this end here, I'll actually bring it up, and the sleepers will hold the majority of the weight. The cage will also be sitting on it. So that's what's happening there. And then over here, I think I've mentioned I'm not using a bathtub here. I'm using this green tray here as a dual root zone tray because I can fit more in it. More soil pouches over there, and fingers crossed we'll be able to grow a load of ginger and maybe some sweet potatoes in there. But the rest of it, yeah, she's just turned off at the moment. I do have water in here, but I have it covered up so nothing can get in there. And yeah, in a couple of days when we come back from our small trip, I'll fire this back up again, getting the water circulating, and hopefully have the sump tank in there and the fish moved upstairs. Let's go to the deck. So the little deck system is coming along rather well, as you can see. Straight up, the lettuce has grown, not so much microgreens as I was calling them the other day. The system is also very silent now because I filled it up with a lot more water. The wicking side of things is going okay. I was actually chatting to Jack Spirko from the Survival Podcast. Great podcast if you're into permaculture, and I'll leave a link down below to Jack's podcast. And he was saying that he'd run a timer on this. He's actually got a couple of neat little videos looking at timer-based aquaponics system. If you want to check him out, try and find some links and put them down in the description under his channel link. Years ago, I used timers on inside hydroponic grows, and I had really bad luck with them because when you buy dollar store timers, they tend not to work too well, and you break the little teeth and they don't work. So yeah, I haven't used timers much. I've started using them again when we were growing the oyster mushrooms, but yeah, probably something I should look into doing. His suggestion was to just flood this periodically, the little flow through bed, just so it gets enough water to replenish what's in the sand to wick up, and then just turns off, so I don't have to worry about turning it on and off. As you can see, it's not on at the moment. That's because I pretty much will come out in the morning, have my coffee, turn it on while I have my coffee, get a nice decent flow up through there, flush all the water that's sitting in the bottom out, and then yeah, just turn it off for the rest of the day. So that seems to have done okay. There's not a lot of moisture right up the top, but about halfway down, you might be able to see the darker soil. It is moist, so the roots of these plants would be in that moist zone. I also went in, speaking of soil, got myself a little net, and I've gone in there and got as much out as I can get. So hopefully the, yes, hello dog, hopefully the fish won't have any issues with that. Water temperature wise, because I'm trying to match it with down the bottom for the little catfish when we move him in, I've popped a little heater in there, and that's pretty much going to bring the water temp up to around about the same, which should be, unless I've stuffed up, where are we, temperature, should be 20 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty good. Now for the pH in this system, it is sitting a little bit high. It's sitting just above 7, but that's not really too much of a hassle. I can slowly acclimatise to the little catfish before I put it in there. Or I could add in some ascorbic acid and bring it down a few more points if I wanted, but yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. Over here, the peppermint is doing well in its Dutch bucket. Something I didn't really cover in last week's video on how I set that and the soil bed up was the reason I'm using a Dutch bucket for the peppermint is because peppermint, along with things like watercress and normal spearmint or mint, can absolutely take over grow beds. Their roots are just that invasive. They do so well, especially when they send out these little runners everywhere. So that's why I decided to put this one here in a little Dutch bucket. Sorry for not mentioning that, Jim, but I've gone back and answered his comment anyway. G'day, by the way, Jim. So yeah, that's why I've got this separate. You know, if in a system this big, that mint could easily take over the whole bed. And I know Kira wants more than just mint in her grow bed. So yeah, that's why we've done that. Down here, I was giving up hope on the little peppermint, but I take it you can probably see those little green dots. They were a lot smaller yesterday, but we do have peppermint germinating in there. So I'm going to have a load of peppermint. We'll leave some here for Kira and we'll take some with us. I was thinking it was just too cold and wet, and because this has retained a lot of moisture and that may have rotted off any roots that we're growing down there. But it appears to have taken okay. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this little deck system has gone. And I'm looking forward to setting up another one under the deck on our farm whenever we find it and move in. Just quickly while we're talking farms, that's the reason why you're getting this video this week. I did want to shoot a video moving the catfish up here and also the sump down onto the new system, but I figured because I'd be basically moving the fish today, we leave tomorrow, and I really want to hang around just in case something goes pear-shaped, even though it probably won't. I don't want to leave that on Kira's shoulders because she'll be staying at home, and I don't want her out here every 10 minutes checking on the fish because that's what I'd be doing, even though I know it's going to go smoothly. So yeah, that video will come next weekend. As you see this, we've probably just arrived home and I've pressed upload on the computer. So yeah, we're heading up towards, where are we? First off, we're going to Childers, and then west of Childers, I think it's called Eureka, to look at a couple of properties there with their farms, working farms. One's actually an old macadamia fruit tree nursery, or nut tree nursery, so that'll be an interesting one. Then we're heading up to Bucka the next day, which is west of Bundaberg. We're going to be looking at a farm there that's sort of in a cane growing area, but it looks out, the back of the property looks out over from a cliff over the Colin River and over farmland. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And then from there, we're going to look at a vacant property out towards Mount Perry. It's a fairly large one. There's power on the block. There's a shed, there's a toilet, and there's power, so that satisfies the bank's requirements, and that's actually what I'm really interested in, even though it's in a slightly drier area. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing this weekend. And if you are interested in our farm search videos, I'll leave a link to a playlist at the end here and you can suss that out. But I will pretty much wrap that up here. As I said before, thank you very much to all you folks who do come along and thumb up the videos and leave a comment down below. It really does help the algorithm. Thank you very much too to all you folks who are supporting the channel via the YouTube membership and also our Farm Your Own Yard website. If you want to help support the channel in other ways other than liking and commenting, there are links to both of them down in the description below, or you can just click the little membership button underneath here on YouTube. And also, thanks to all those folks who have been purchasing our guide. There is some discount codes down below that aren't all quite used up. There might be one or two uses on some of them left, so suss them out before I delete them at the end of the month. But I will pretty much leave it there. I do hope you're all well and happy and your own gardens and aquaponics are booming. I'll catch you next video. Cheers, folks, and happy growing.